I'm Today I'm gonna be continuing my work on the whole thing that happened with Trump, the A is how I refer to it as, and I'm gonna be talking about these two guys as having a role in this whole narrative with the numbers too and stuff. And you know, you should know about JFK and how Trump's situation was similar but different, obviously, because Trump survived. And this is Harvey Oswald, the guy who committed the crime. And this is who we're going to really be focusing on today. It's just going to be one detail, but it's going to connect to all the other work that I've done. It's funny because it's work that I did. I posted videos on it before the event even happened, like the Trump rally. And then I realized that all that stuff connected perfectly. And it's just going to confirm more. I just need to say it. I've said it before, but yeah, I mean, I have no doubt that me and my family are, in the Bible, connected to the Bible, connected to this event. And of course that sounds crazy, but I have everything to back it up. And it's just a matter of whether you want to take the time to I guess look at what I'm presenting, and if you want to just say I'm crazy or sound stupid without actually looking at the information or trying to understand it, that's not really fair. But that's your choice whether you want to do that or not. But I guarantee I have all the numbers to back it up, and it's just beyond synchronicity. It really is beyond coincidence for sure. But yeah, definitely beyond synchronicity. There's definitely something going on, and me and my family are involved for whatever reason that God has. But it doesn't really surprise me. I don't know why people think that's hard to believe, that it could be people that are not famous people or celebrities. That might be the distraction, in my opinion, that people are only looking towards celebrities or famous people to have a role in the fulfilling a prophecy. That's kind of what I'm starting to get at. And I think the real prophecy might be it might be within I just said, nobodies, I guess, like me. That's not hard for me to believe, and when the numbers back it up, it's just not yeah, that's just the conclusion I've come to. So I'm gonna try to just be as normal and act as casual as possible, but that is where I stand. So I just appreciate anyone who can accept me for that. But I'm not saying I know exactly what our roles are. It's just that there's no way that we are not connected to the Bible, and especially with this event. There really is just no way. So I'm just gonna show that even further with this video. So thanks for being here. Yeah, it's gonna have to do with him speaking at the RNC. It was the fourth day of the RNC that he spoke, which is this date, and that matters a lot. The four, hopefully you guys remember in my past video I talked about how important the four was. We're in the Cancer, the fourth zodiac, a bunch of other stuff. But anyways, and then we're gonna be talking about my dad again, and we're gonna be talking about my mom. So again, this is I've been talking about this a lot even before the event happened, and then I realized that my dad's death, he died from lung cancer at the age of 40, and then I realized that that event is tied to my dad's death. Like, I'm not saying that as a hyperbole, like it actually is. And I've been showing that, and hopefully I can just only hope that you've watched those videos, and if you haven't, I totally understand, because I don't know anyone who would just want to, like, just, I mean, it's not really entertaining, just because it's not like it's not people that you guys know. So I think you'd have to be really, really hungry and really, really interested to watch it. So if you did, then like, that's probably why. But there's no hard feelings. That's all I'm saying. And I established this this connection with this verse, Revelation 15:8. And the temple was filled with smoke from the glory of God and from his power, and no man was able to enter into the temple till the 7 plagues and 7 angels were fulfilled. So establish this connection with like smoking and this event here, this huge event. Like, it's an uncanny resemblance. You see the smoke and the towers. The 7 and 7 is important for just how it's been applying to my life, which I'm gonna show. And then the temple, your body. The Bible says your body is a temple filled with smoke. You know, you see that. Then I showed this as well. So this is just I'm setting up. This is just review. So this is what I've been showing in my past videos, and this is gonna lead to the punchline, which I'll point that out in a little bit. But yeah, this is more review. I pointed this out that he was 28,500 days old on this day right here, and this was a super coded day, and it was a huge synchronicity, like, between me and my dad. But let's just focus on this right now. So yeah, you see this word, or these two words, equals 285. And this is really interesting because well, this I thought about the Great Conjunction, which could be written 28/5/2000. Most of the world would write that as 28/5/00. This Great Conjunction with Saturn and Jupiter. So when you go from 28/5/00 to the day he was, what was a span of 28,500 days from his birth, because this is when he turned 28,500 days, and then this was a span. So but it was 1,256 weeks exactly, and this equals this. I'm not gonna read it, but yeah, you can read here. And this day was also more coded because it was the nativity of St. John the Baptist, and you know, he had a head wound as well. He was beheaded, right? So he had a head wound too. Obviously not anything similar, but it's just the symbolism, you know, of the head wound, and then John the Baptist's head wound. So this is how that day was connected to me and my dad, because on that day I turned the age that my dad was when I was born. The exact same age, which is 1707 weeks, 1,707 weeks. And that same day, that was the 307th anniversary of Freemasonry. And It was exactly 307 weeks after the first episode of Lodge 49. Lodge 49, and this is a show I learned about from Casey Jones, and it's like just straight up written about me and my dad. I still gotta watch it. Like the premise of the show is about this guy named Sean who loses his dad. That's like the premise of the show. You see here, he's underwater, like baptism, right? Like John the Baptist. And the release of the first episode lined up perfectly with Freemasonry and this day here with the 307. But the 307s connect to 1707, which means that it lined up perfectly with both of our births. My dad's and my birth. It was absolutely perfect. So we're still reviewing because I've talked about all this, but I'm just setting it up. 5:07 a.m. is 307 minutes into the day, and this part here is going to bridge into the 1707. So 5:07, it's the prime factorization is 3 times 13 times 13, and Pope Francis, Pope means father. Talking about me and my dad, father. He became the Pope on 3/13/13, just like that. And Pope Francis equals 5:07, so his name is coded to this. Just like I said, his name means father. And this is the bridge. This is actually the bridge to the 1707, which is perfect because Pontiff, another name for Pope, that means bridge builder. So this is the bridge for the connection with the 307 and then the 1707. 5:07 p.m. is 17 hours and 7 minutes into the day. So when you go, the 307 bridges to the 5:07, and the 5:07 bridges to the 17:07. So it's like really freaking mind blowing that my dad's birth to my birth, same as my birth to this day, that was super connected to Trump and all this. And like definitely if you were looking ahead, I know Dr. Savage was looking ahead on this date, like he was looking at this date for like these reasons I believe are similar reasons. But I mean, if I would have known all this ahead of time, I totally would have thought that as well, that this or something was going to happen on this date, and it didn't, but it makes sense, I guess. Like this was like a placeholder or foreshadow, I guess, but yeah, so the way that our ages connected to the 307th anniversary and then 307 weeks after this show was just absolutely just perfect, man. It was just so perfect. And we're still looking at this date. This is still review. So this smoking thing, like I showed in the beginning, the girl smoking the cigarette, and like my dad, he died of lung cancer from smoking cigarettes. So this reminded me a lot about his death, right? The temple being filled with smoke. And that verse equals 676. And it's insane because my mom, she was exactly 676 months on the day that I turned 1707 weeks, when I turned the same age that my dad was when he had me. And when you convert that into this date, which I do a lot, from 1707 to my birth, 30,955 days, which is absolutely insane, because Revelation 15:8 is the 30,955th verse of the Bible. So my mom's birth to the day that I turned 1707 weeks is the gematria value of this verse, which this verse is this many verses into the Bible, and I'm that many days old on 1707. That's just the review, and it blows my mind every freaking time. I've said it many times, but this, I mean, this is proof of God, for one, for sure. There's absolutely no doubt about it. And two, the way that this connects to all this stuff going on, I'm about to show, is freaking mind-blowing. And then what I just showed with how Trump lined up with this day too. Especially because of this. Because look, like I just showed you, the 676, it's the 676 square, 26 times 26. This word is 2626. So it's undeniable. And then, I thought this was really interesting that cancer equals 26. Like what my dad died of. But absolutely mind-blowing, jaw-dropping, and I made a video about this whole synchronicity with me and my dad and my mom on this day at the end of June, before the event happened. I did not know that we were all connected to that event that was about to happen. I had no idea. But sure enough. So here's the info. This is the new info. Okay, and it's pretty short, but Harvey Oswald, he was 30,955 days old the day that he spoke at the rally. And it was the reason why that's so important is because that whole rally was based, it was all centered around the event that happened. He had it was 4 days after that, or no, it was 6 days, 5 days, I think, 5 days. And you bet it was so it was all about that. And then him, him speaking on the last day was a huge deal, so dramatic, and well produced. They did a great job. It was very entertaining. But that had everything to do with what had happened. And then I mentioned it in the beginning, he's the one who committed the crime against JFK, and this whole thing is about that, what I'm saying. It's try not to get censored, but it's about this right here, the 2626. That's what it's about. And then he happened to have that huge connection on the day of the nativity of St. John the Baptist, which I connected with my dad on that same day. And this is describing his death, the temple being filled with smoke. Oh yeah, and then the 7 plagues, 7 angels 7 times 7 is 49, and like the show Lodge 49. So yeah, it's like it's all there. Oh yeah, and then so yeah, looking at the the date could be written 187, like most of the world would write that as 187, and 3:07 a.m. is the 187th minute of the day. So just another connection to that, another connection to all that I just showed with the 307s, you know. So it's just perfect. And then it's pretty interesting that 3:07 a.m. is 11,220 seconds. Like JFK, his death date was November 22nd. So it's all there. It's all there. And I just added this again just to kind of to recap. That's all pretty much like the new information. It's gonna be pretty short, but I had to set it up with all the information I have already shared. And yeah, let's just review and then have a few more slides after. So again, my dad was 1707 weeks when I was born. I turned 1707 weeks on the 307th anniversary of Freemasonry, 307 weeks after Lodge 49's first episode. Lodge 49 is about a guy named Sean who loses his dad. Magic Square of Venus. Oh, because I was talking, me and Cody and like, a lot of others. Like we were talking with like Casey and 7-1 about Venus a lot, and the Magic Square of Venus is a 7x7 grid, all the numbers between 1 and 49, and 7749 to my birth, it was exactly 507 months. Like I showed you that 507, that bridge, and I'm gonna get into this in a little bit too. This was Shelley Duvall's birthday. And I made I made this connection before Shelley Duvall even died too, so that's another funny thing. The Venus to Earth ratio, which creates the pentagram rose in the sky, is 13:8, and the prime factorization of 138 is 2 times 3 times 23. This was the Ohio train derailment, by the way. But from this date, which represents 138. to 6/24/24, that that was 507 days. 5:07 a.m. is 307 minutes into the day. The 507 or the prime factors of 507 are 3 times 13 times 13. We talked about that. Pope means father. Pope Francis became Pope on 3/13/13. I forgot to mention. So that was actually 6 years, 66 days before 1707. 1707. Like 1707. And 5:07 p.m. is 17 hours and 7 minutes into the day. So something really freaking interesting. Well, I mean, it makes sense because it's a huge that's a huge riddle with the time, prime factorization, the calendar, and yeah, it makes sense, like he obviously knows a lot about how time and the calendar is connected. And yeah, so 5:07 p.m. is 17 hours 7 minutes into the day. 1707 to 6/24/24. That's I forgot to review this, but I have it in my next slide because it's really important. It was 911 weeks in one day, just like 9/11/01. The events. That was the exact date and year of the events. And I showed you the connection with the smoking of the cigarette and the towers. 1707 to my birth. I showed this too. 30,955 days, just like Lee Harvey Oswald was 30,955 days, or would have been, yeah, would have been it, like if you were alive on the day that Trump spoke at the RNC. But yeah, so this was 1707 of the year 1907. That's why I was getting a little confused. But yeah, I remember this is 1707 of 2007. This is 1707 of 1907, but it's still 1707, which is why I checked and found this. So I think it validates that going back 100 years thing. And the 30,955th verse of the Bible is Revelation 15:8. So she she was a big part of this whole connection with my family and JFK, and then the event that happened as well, because her name, Shelley Duvall, equals 158, like Revelation 158. And you see the 7 plagues, 7 angels, and 7 times 7 is 49, and she was born on 7/7/49, just like Lodge 49. And 7/7/49 to my birth, like I showed in the last slide, is 507 months exactly. And I already showed all how the 507 is connected with like father and everything. And then I found that her death was 107 years 44 days after JFK's birth. So JFK would have, I mean, highly doubt he would have been alive, but if he would have been 100 years and 44 days old. But cigarettes and shooting equal 107 and 44. So it was like a huge, like her death was like a huge foreshadow, like a huge, I consider it like a smoke signal, you know, because it was like if anyone was tracking this down, they would have been like, oh, something's gonna happen. But even without like all this stuff, I mean, people already were like, there's just so many other ways that you can tackle it from, you know, like Derek and Cody literally did a live stream like the beginning of July that was all about him and Trump and 248, and then Joseph Aguaviva was like, just from his decodes, his daily decodes, he was like, he literally had a decode like maybe a month or two ago saying that the Trump AA is gonna happen soon based on that decode. So there people were already, I mean, so yeah, there's definitely, I guess there's simpler ways that you could have seen this coming, but I'm just trying to show how deep like it really goes, because there's a lot of stuff that was missed, and it's crazy because this all connects to my family. That's why it blows my mind. That's why I have to talk about it. So from the first day, I just had to, you know, because he was born on October 18th, so I was like, I went back and forth deciding, but anyways, yeah, I think it's totally worth noting after all that I showed. You know, it was like the first day of his birth, or the first day of his life, I guess, full day, to her birth was 507 weeks. Like all the stuff that I showed with, you know, Pope Francis. 507 is 3 times 13 times 13, and I might as well just show you here. 507, 3 times 13 times 13. Pope Francis, father, became Pope on 3/13/13. 507 is 17 hours and 7 minutes into the day. So how just how perfect is it that, I mean, she was born 507 weeks after him. And yeah, I just wanted to talk about this again just because I felt like this connection was very important. 1707 to that super coded day, that ridiculously coded day, and it happened to be my 1707th week. It was exactly 911 weeks and 1 day, like the exact date that this happened. And then from that date, 9/11, to this super coded day, which was Trump's 28,500 day, and then this equals to 85, and it was 1256 weeks after the Great Conjunction, which was on 28,500, and this equals 1256. So nine 11 to that super coded day, it was 1189 weeks. There's a 1189 total chapters in the whole Bible, and his name equals 1189. Just to match with this perfectly coded day, super coded day, unbelievably. And that's it. That's the last slide. So yeah, thanks again for watching, and hopefully you guys can see where I'm coming from after making those really bold claims. I'm pretty serious about them. And I'm gonna just, like I said, I know for sure I've provided enough information to back up like how I feel. I feel like I'm handling it a lot better, because when I shared the video like last week, the one with Venus and Trump and then myself, like I couldn't hold it in. Like I broke because it was I wasn't capable of accepting that much truth and that much information, and I've come to terms with it a lot more. So now I'm just sure. I'm just like sure about it. Especially after what I found with that video I'm talking about right now, and a lot more other things. Like I just have so many things to share. And like I'm not saying I'm the only one. But I truly haven't found, based on what I've seen, like a lot of other finds are more straightforward. Like other connections to this event that happened, they are a lot simpler, more straightforward. But this is just freaking crazy. Like everything I'm sharing is crazy. Like it just is. Like I can't even deny it. And with all the the videos I've already shared, and then just that detail with this, I just want to go back to it since it's pretty much the climax of the video. This is the climax right here. So this just made it even more perfect, after everything I shared. And like I said, I just know it's beyond synchronicity. I don't know what beyond synchronicity can possibly be, but it's like I would assume that it's just like divine purpose. Like this is all part of God's plan. Like it's not just like I was born at the perfect time. And same with my dad, and same with my mom. Like it couldn't have been more perfect. Like with with the show and the show that's about like me and my dad, all this, you know, stuff going on here, like and then watch the, like, here's like starting here. This is when I talked about the Lodge 49 and my dad, and then like this one right here, dude. Like I made this I think the 3rd of July, but like there's still so much more like things like I didn't get to add to this, like that would have it solidifies it even more, but I don't want to make it too long. So this one's freaking crazy. This one's absolutely freaking mind-blowing. This one's pretty crazy too. And then this one right here, like I'm not even trying to be brag. I'm being objective. Like I'm being objective. Like there's no way that this stuff is not crazy. These fines. They're so crazy that sometimes I'm like, I don't know, did someone lie about my birth? Like, was I really born on that freaking day? Like, because it's too crazy. It makes me, but sometimes I think that, but I'm also just like thinking what I mentioned at first, like, we're probably in this thing, and I'm not saying this stuff is fulfilling like the prophecies exactly, but however the Bible was written, which I know was written by, like, inspired by God, it was written with us, like our lives, our births, our lives, and our deaths, I guess, like my dad's so far, set in stone, set in absolute stone, perfectly to line up with all this other stuff that was going to be happening before and after. So that's all I'm going to say. I know kind of took a long time. It's probably going to be a bunch of other people streaming today, so please go watch them. That's all. Keep your head up. Stay strong. Thank you guys for watching this. Take care. Bye.